Thank you. I guess you thought you were surprised they would bring a ringer in tonight, but they did ask me to come up. My name is Tom Greer. I am the general manager of the Monterey Peninsula Airport and the past chair of AAAE, the American Association of Airport Executives. First, I'd like to say good evening. Thank you for inviting me, distinguished guests, special dignitaries, and ladies and gentlemen. Now that ends the formality of this presentation. But I do want to thank the Chamber of Commerce of Medford and the City of Medford for allowing us to have an opportunity at this program to honor someone in your community who has truly distinguished himself in the airport management profession. And it's a special honor for me to be able to present this award to BernCase, your airport manager. You're going to have a lot of time to do that. But I hired Bern in 1978, some 30-some years ago, in Salt Lake City. And it's sort of like a proud papa being invited to come and give his son his Super Bowl ring, or in Bern's case, the trophy for Dancing with the Stars. But he and his wife, I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But it's really special to be here, and a special honor and a privilege for me to be invited to present Bern this award. Normally, it's presented by the current and the sitting chair of the American Association of Airport Executives, but they're all in China, and it would be a little hard for them to make the trip back just for this presentation. But when I was asked to make this presentation by Bern, I was flattered and pleased, but he also said, don't worry, they'll provide you with information and material and a script, so you won't have to go do a lot of research on how to do that. So I thought, that's fine. So a couple days later, AAAE sent me a page to present this award, and then a few days later, his staff, Kim, sent me these 13 or so pages for me to present to Bern. And then this afternoon, Bern came up and said, I have this PowerPoint presentation, about 100 slides of my life, and I can usually do it in about an hour, but if you want to leave out the trivial stuff, you can probably do it in about 55 minutes. So I looked at that and I said, you know, this is not going to work. And I remembered what my dad told me when he would listen to me as when I was practicing for a speech in my public speaking class in high school. He said, son, you have to stand up to be seen, speak up to be heard, sit down to be appreciated. So that's what I'm going to try to do for you tonight. But I do have a few things I want to, yeah, I know. So I am going to try to do a few things first. And there's one thing that I am going to read because I do not want to get it wrong. And that is that this Distinguished Service Award is sort of like the Lifetime Achievement Award in the airport management business. Bern has distinguished himself in this industry, not just in Oregon, not just in the Northwest chapter, but in this entire industry. And it's very rare for someone to get this award who has not been through the chairs. And so I have to tell you that it is especially pleasing for me to be able to present it, to give Bern the recognition that he richly deserves in this industry. The Distinguished Service Award is the highest recognition within the airport management profession. Recipients of the Distinguished Service Award exemplify the high standards and leadership that represents the aviation industry today. It's awarded to recognize the outstanding accomplishments both of their professional and personal life. They're respected leaders in their profession and community, and Bern certainly meets and exceeds all of these. Well, let's go back to when I first met Bern. I met him back in 1978 in Salt Lake City. I was putting together an operations department for the Salt Lake City Airport, and Bern walked in off the street and said, I want to work at an airport. I said, well, where have you worked before? He said, I'm a mortician. So have you ever, I don't know how many of you know that Bern was a mortician, but it took a while for me to overcome that and really seriously considered Bern's application. But I will tell you, I hired him, and he began to circulate among the living, and it it was a little hard for Bern at first. You know, teaching a mortician to be an airport manager is sort of like teaching a turtle to fly. So, but after he realized that the people he come into contact with, they talk back to you, he sort of began to get it. But he used to. But after Salt Lake City, I hired him in 1978. In Bergen, I literally hired him to work the street. He was like a police officer on the streets at Salt Lake City International. Within 9 months, it was obvious Bergen had special characteristics. He advanced quickly and became an airport operations supervisor. And later on in 1986, before 86, Bern became the manager of airport operations at Salt Lake International. About 1986, Bern decided to branch out on his own. He decided to take a job or to go up in Saginaw, Michigan. Now, to give you an idea of how this industry works and how coincidental things happen, the first job interview I ever went on was in Saginaw, Michigan. Well, you can probably tell by the way I talk, I'm probably not a native of Saginaw. I was sent up there by a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, to interview in February 1970. I'd never been north of Kentucky, and I was in the Marine Corps. I was just getting out of the Marine Corps, and was looking for a job in airport management. So I got up to Saginaw on February 6th, and I think the temperature was about 3 degrees Fahrenheit, and I had never chewed on my breath before, but it was the coldest I'd ever had. But luckily, I did not get that job. But as things would happen, BernCase was able to secure the job in Saginaw, Michigan in 1986. And not only did he get the job, he increased their air carriers by threefold. He added 3 additional flights. He set passenger records, development records that have yet to be reached again since he was there. But after about 3 years in Saginaw, Bern had thought out enough to realize he needed to get out of there. So he moseyed on down to Lubbock, Texas, and took a job at the airport director at Lubbock, Texas. And while he was at Lubbock, he did the same thing there that he had done at Saginaw. He increased the passenger count, he increased the airlines. But after about 4 years, he realized he needed to get back west of the Rockies. He was a Western-type boy, so he left Lubbock, Texas, and in 1994, Bern moseyed on over to Jackson Airport Authority at Medford. And I have to tell you, he has been an incredible asset to you, and you probably don't need to know all of the things I'm going to say. But in addition to being a great airport manager, he's been a very active and involved citizen in his community and in his profession. He's been the president of the Northwest chapter of the American Association of Airport Executives. Twice he was named Airport Manager of the Year by the Oregon Airport Managers, and he's received the Executive of the Year award from the Northwest chapter of AAAE. He's on the national level. He's participated in a number of committees and commissions, and he's actually been quite a proponent of some of the major issues in aviation management. Now, many of you may know Bern as an innovator and a developer. Bern has had some creative ideas in his stint. He has developed the Oval Office in his terminal building, where you can go and have lunch with the president if you can find a look-alike to show up. He's developed a fog seeding mechanism where he actually he seeds the fog so that it clears the visibility so the airplanes can land. And many times you get in and out of Medford because of the work that he's done. He's also came up with this idea of wrapping the new tower with some advertising, but I guess 2 out of 3 ain't all that bad. But You know, sometimes you have to just try some things, but he has come up with some very creative and innovative things. But, you know, in his own community, he's done an awful lot. He's been a member of the numerous chambers of commerce in addition to this one. And I have to tell you, this is quite impressive to be able to present this award in front of such a distinguished group. Usually these awards are given at either a city council meeting or an airport board meeting or even a chapter association. I know when I got mine was at Godfather's Pizza after a Little League football game. And, it came with a check, so I thought it was a pretty good deal. But this is really special to be able to present this to Bern in front of such a distinguished group. But Bern's been the president of the Travel and Tourism Association. He's on the board of directors of the Family Health Care Incorporated, an HMO here in Oregon. And he and Michelle, this is why I was mentioning the Dancing with the Stars, he and Michelle still find time to teach dancing on cruise ships as they around the country. So if you don't know how to dance and you want to take a cruise, you might ought to talk to Bern. He can set something up for you. But Bern was commissioned an infantry officer in the U.S. Army in 1969, and they served there till 1972. And then after that, he served 8 years with the U.S. Coast Guard. I don't know how he made that transition. U.S. Army to U.S. Coast Guard in Saginaw, Michigan. I don't know. But anyway, he's been a Rotarian for over 25 years. He's been a member of 3 Rotary clubs around the country, and he's a Paul Harris Fellow. For those of you who are Paul Harris Fellow, you know what that means. So tonight, AAAE and its members salute a very valuable colleague, and it's with great honor and personal pride that I present BernCase with the American Association of Airport Executives Distinguished Service Award for 2014. I almost got Hold that up for me. Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
Couple of things. Michigan was worth it to me. That's where I met my lovely wife, Michelle, and the 3 years there made that worthwhile. One time when it got a little political in Texas, I doubted it, didn't know if things would work out for a week or two, and I told Michelle I could always get my mortician's license back, and she said, "I'll work 2 jobs." And I said, "Well, would you have married me if I'd been a mortician?" And she said, "We wouldn't have even dated." But we did, and we are. I'd like to thank the Chamber for letting AAAE come in and share this venue tonight. When they announced this in the spring, they said that I had the privilege of picking the venue. I talked to Brad, he talked to people, and thank you for letting me be here. It was just a little bigger than a pizza parlor, so I appreciate that. I appreciate this community, all of the support you've given me. The airport couldn't do what it does without passengers going through it. Appreciate the county, the Board of Commissioners, my boss, Danny Jordan, the latitude they've given me, the opportunities they've given me to try creative things. Yeah, the tower didn't work, but a lot of things have. I was telling somebody the other day, it's a lot like a baseball player. It's the batting average that counts. Every now and then you don't get what you want. But and my staff, they're here tonight. A lot of the key players. You can't do these things without a team. And again, my wife, Michelle. That's what makes a career worthwhile. I've been blessed. Bill Mance almost brought tears to my eyes, but you know, that adage that if you do something you love, you don't work a day of your life. I want you to know I love what I do, and thanks for letting us be here.
It's one of those awards that over the years I'd see people receive it, and in the back of your mind you think, wow, that'd be wonderful to have. But I mean, it's giants in the industry that get it, and I'm so honored because it's just, there's thousands of people worldwide that are eligible, and they give out 1 or 2 a year, 50 over the 85-year history of the association. And I couldn't be more honored and more humbled. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing.